president, the open push for coup d'etat, the launch of his own, a media system called Real News. It has the media freaking out. Roger Stone.
Alex, great to be with you. I'm still trying to digest everything we talked about last week, but I am convinced that the three generals who now are in the top circle around the president are seeking to isolate him totally. It's a kind of a death march to walk him towards the ultimate execution by Robert Mueller. The president is probably relieved that the chaos that existed under Reince Priebus of the Oval Office being an open door, kind of like the Marx Brothers stateroom scene. I can understand why the president would be relieved, but now we are at a juncture where they seek to cut off old friends, political allies, friends from business, friends from the world of finance, friends from the president's past, and people that he talks to. They are really seeking to tighten the cordon. And
by the way, after you reported this last Friday, Kelly was in the news that evening saying, I control everyone that gets to see him, even his family. Let's discuss what this isolation means straight ahead, because if they bring Trump down, folks, they're going after everybody. Understand, they know we're winning culturally. They want to bring in authoritarianism. Let's talk about how we stop them straight ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got big breaking news. I know last week the DOJ said they were looking at releasing emails that they had said did not previously exist under Loretta Lynch's tenure. Remember, she said there's no emails between me and the Clintons, no discussions of anything. I've never talked to the Clintons on email. Never talked to the State Department when Hillary was there. Oh, DOJ releases 400-plus pages of Lynch-Clinton meeting emails, and reportedly that's just the headers. That's just an index of the emails. So we're talking thousands of pages. This is the smoking gun, but smoking guns come out every day. Total lying, total criminality, totally insane. That's why they're so desperate to get Trump, because they know everything they said he's done, they've done. And you've got Mueller with this giant dragnet. Sorry, I'm ranting. This is just huge. Roger Stone.
Well, Alex, I really think the focus now has to be on the generals. General McMaster has conducted a purge of Trump loyalists inside the NSA. He has put in charge as the number 2 a woman named Allison Nielsen, whose job at Homeland Security, where she was number 2, was to ensure that no one who supported Donald Trump or his immigration policies were hired. He has put into effect this arrangement with the other generals where I am told they have an unwritten agreement that no military order will be honored unless all 3 of them sign up, the usurpation of entire civilian authority. And I don't believe that the statement that the president put out has been seen correctly and in the right light. I immediately began to question whether the president had, in fact, seen the statement, given that he was in New Jersey and that was issued from New York. I now know the president was misled into approving a statement. He was simply told that some have attacked McMaster's for being anti-Israel. And as you know, Mr. President, he loves Israel, without mentioning that Mr. McMaster's recently said that Susan Rice had done nothing whatsoever wrong in her unmasking of sensitive surveillance material for political purposes. That's political espionage. And extending her national security clearance. These were 2 facts that my sources tell me the president was not aware of when he issued his hearty support for Mr. McMaster. So this is disconcerting. I say let Trump be Trump. I say that the idea that he is incontinent or needs a handle is ridiculous, but sources tell me that the president was not happy with stories he read that said that General Kelly was seeking to get control of the president's Twitter feed. The president's Twitter feed is his province, isn't being written by some punk staffer or some, military guy. This is Donald Trump's lifeline to the American people. And the general, I think, may have made a mistake in his efforts to attempt to close it.
That is powerful information, because he was in the news being quoted talking about Trump like he was some, mentally retarded kid that you have to keep in the basement. Very, very sickening, arrogant statements. And I wasn't sure Kelly said it. I mean, CNN lies so much that either Kelly said that or he didn't say it. But regardless, implying that the president was being isolated for his own good and saying that he was no longer going to be on his Twitter alone, but would run it past Kelly. Again, I mean, these people are arrogant, just like McMaster would run around and say, we're going to topple Assad a day after Trump said that we weren't going to topple Assad, and then he had to walk that back later. These people are like whack-a-mole. They keep popping up like bad kids just to see if they can score points with the mainstream media. Who wants to score points with this dying dinosaur edifice?
Well, and let's face it, when Congressman Adam Bull Schiff comes forward to heartily endorse the leadership of General McMaster, I think that tells us all we need to know. The globalists stick together. McMaster is allied with the other two generals for this is 7 days in May. This is an effort to lull the president to sleep, cut him off from his most loyal supporters, withhold the truth from him about his government, try to deter him from doing any damage before they can take him out. Take him out, in this case, defined as walking him slowly to the gallows that are being constructed by Robert Mueller.
And of course, 7 Days in May was a Hollywood piece, basically the same year as Dr. Strangelove came out, dealing with the same type of out-of-control rogue generals and deep state starting a nuclear war. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, with more with Roger Stone. I'm Alex Jones.
On the march. The empire's on the run.
Now, I don't watch a great deal of Fox. When I'm on the elliptical in the morning, usually 30 minutes, I'll watch a little bit of that. Then I'll listen to music when I'm lifting weights for another 30, 45 minutes. And then we have monitors on, basically, in 5 different areas of the office that have CNN, MSNBC, C-SPAN, Fox, and we kind of monitor it. But every time I turn Fox on, if it's not Sean Hannity or Tucker Carlson, they are just backhanded attacking the president. Oh, he's lazy, he didn't get anything done. Oh, but it doesn't matter. He just says, he hates the media. He's a one-trick pony. Ha, ha, ha. It's bad. And you can see the people do not like what they're saying. They do not like the talking points they've been given because it's suiciding the ratings. Now, we first reported back in July they were going to get rid of Roger Ailes in a coup. The brothers were, because they want to sell Sky News for $40-something million. And in the UK, they won't allow that sale to go through if it's involved in hate anywhere else in the world and a bunch of other stuff. But they've gotten on board. They think they're going to beat Trump. They think they're going to beat the nationalism. They think they're going to beat Make America Great Again. They think they're going to get their carbon tax and their open borders because they're committed to it. And they're classically in ivory towers in their own world. You read Ministry of Defense, Pentagon analysis, others, they say populism's going to take over, Renaissance is going to explode back, but then there's going to be big wars because of AI, overpopulation. There is overpopulation in many areas of the world because we've not allowed clean industry to come in. Currently, we're overpopulated in the many areas, and it's just going to be just an absolute bloodbath. So we're going to defeat modern globalism and the plan of David Rockefeller and the UN and their family and this corporate idea to loot everybody. But we're still left with a bunch of problems. It's not like we're offering some utopia. And so Roger Stone is our guest. He brought a clip to my attention of this pundit on Fox News saying, oh, well, Kelly's real measure will be, can he stop Alex Jones's information from getting the president? Because, see, they've gone from, oh, look, the president's crazy, he gets Alex Jones's info, to trying to ignore that and just hope it goes away. Well, let me explain something. The only reason the president's listened to me on occasion is common sense. Before he was president, they just stole the nomination from Bernie Sanders, even though he won all those states, they're going to steal it from you. And there's some memos that have been put out by the Democrats for talking about wanting to federalize elections to stop the Republicans from ever, becoming the dominant party. And then you give people the info. The Democrats are talking about it. Obviously, Trump listened, went and checked the numbers of 3-point-whatever million illegals voting in the last election. He brought all that out. It's all been proven correct. So that's what they can't stand, is the fact that I communicate with the president through you, communicating with him on Twitter, through you at the rallies, through people close to the president, and I'll just leave it that way. They can't stand it. And they want Hannity off just because, more than anybody, 1 hour a night, if he's not giving a speech or whatever, he has them DVR it, when he gets back at midnight, he gets out the popcorn and turns on Sean Hannity. Major bromance going on forever. So Hannity's talking about all the coup and murder the president info, and because the globalists are saying it. So they want to prepare their coup, talk about 25th Amendment, talk about killing him, talk about blowing up the White House, and then not have us talk about it on forums that get to the president so they can organize all their people and normalize it. But then separately, they don't want us warning the president, oh, hey, 5 times this week, Clapper says he wants you to be overthrown. Oh, look, on and on and on. Oh, Al Gore just bragged on the Late Late Show that you're about to be overthrown. So that's why they had the Washington Post a month ago saying Hannity has now got into Alex Jones territory. Look, he's crazy. He claims there's a plan for COG to overthrow. He got it from Alex. And then they don't show that it was in Atlantic Monthly. So he didn't get it from me. This is going on. Lou Dobbs, Rush Limbaugh, all of us. Yes, it's true. Have Alex Jones and Roger Stone and all of us trailblazed this? Yes. Don't you think we're a little tired of being the trailblazers? You know how dangerous this is. They already tried to kill Roger twice. I'm not going to get into the stuff going on behind the scenes here, but let me just tell you something. If I wasn't somebody, I'm not into abuse, but if somebody's going to do it, I can flip a switch and like it. You understand? I get my energy off them trying to destroy me. You understand? I'm committed. In fact, I love it. You understand? I flipped the switch. So they need to understand that I love all of it. I absolutely enjoy it. I'm not just putting a good face on it. I love it, whatever you do, because you're going to be defeated, and we're winning the culture war, and now you can't carry out your little assassination or whatever, or hit him with some drugs and claim he had a collapse, a mental issue, put him on PCP, whatever it is you're planning. Don't think we don't know, and don't think you're ever going to get away with it, McMaster and Brennan and all you dirty collaborator Benedict Arnolds that sold us out to radical Islam. Don't ever, I'm sorry, Roger, I'm ranting, but you brought up this clip. I hadn't seen it. I watched it during the break, and it made me get angry again. But it shows how weak they are. If they're afraid of us and are fighting around the clock desperately to keep our information from getting to the president, it shows what weak crap they are. Not how strong we are, but how weak they are.
Well, Alex, I think it's a two-pronged strategy. One is to try to cut off all access to the president so that he doesn't watch InfoWars, doesn't read Breitbart, doesn't see the Daily Caller, isn't watching Town Hall and a dozen of others sites that he did avidly follow during the campaign. So he's on a steady diet of Fox and CNN and the 3 networks. Fox is probably where he gets most of his information, and if he's watching Judge Jeanine or Sean Hannity or Judge Napolitano or Tucker Carlson, or Steve Doocy, he's getting it straight. Otherwise, you're right, the complexion of Fox is changing quickly. By limiting the print media that he sees and swiftly curtailing his television viewing so that it does not include alternative media, it's much easier to control his perception of things. As I've said 100 times on this program, when Donald Trump has all the information, he almost invariably makes the right decision.
I think you've said it 200 times, and let me add this. You've been saying this for months. Kelly and others have tipped their hand. They're on TV saying we're getting him totally isolated. Now, some people say, well, that's the leaks, so they can find who the leakers are. Maybe Kelly's good. Maybe he is. All I know is McMaster's bad. Mattis, I don't know what's going on. And we're going to see if the leaks stop. That shows Kelly's good. Or maybe the media is misquoting Kelly. Regardless, all I'm saying is that it's true he was being spied on. It's true they're trying to overthrow him, and he needs to know this. Sorry, go ahead.
Alex, let's be absolutely clear. When they talk about finding the leakers and closing the leaks, this is folly. No president has ever been able to do that. They will run cursory investigations. They're going to find that the people in government who leak are strategic enough not to use their own cell phones or emails. They're not going to leave traces that, for which, in some cases, are crimes in which they could be prosecuted. Then what will happen is the government will start using surveillance and eavesdropping to try to catch the leakers before they leak.
And it'll be that surveillance that Deep State actually uses to stir up stuff and twist things to burn POTUS.
Well, or even worse, it is precisely what ended up bringing President Nixon down. It will now be used to use Trump down. Oh my God, Trump was surveilling his own staff. In all honesty, the fact that we even need to put members of the White House staff under surveillance tells you that they have had poor hiring practices. This should be the ultimate team of Trump loyalists. Instead,
but as you said, day one, they put in sheep-dipped globalist Soros operatives at all the gatekeeping points to put in the fifth column.
It's very sad. I mean, the president is like a captive in a tower. His instinct is good. His heart is pure. And when he gives orders on the economy and they're carried out, we see the results. He's being told things selectively so they can, in my opinion, lull him to sleep about the danger of Mueller and what he has in store, and to try to mute his corporate tax cut back to something meaningless, to stall as long as they can on the wall, and otherwise just run the clock out, hoping that the Democrats take the House in 2018, and then anything Mueller dishes up can be used as a phony excuse for impeachment.
Roger, my life is so exciting, is so incredible. People think being politically aware is like work. It's addicting. We're like in a super spy novel that's real. The evil, corrupt deep state is as nasty as anyone could imagine, against God, against Christ, against Western civilization, and is literally run by a bunch of devil-worshipping child molesters. And we're kicking their butt. Our audience is kicking their butt. They're trying to shut us down. We have this beachhead, but it's like watching your favorite football team at the Super Bowl in sudden death overtime, and the kicker is about to kick the field goal from 47 yards. You know, he only makes this 10% of the time, and it's a winless day, so he's got a shot. But it doesn't just go for 10 seconds. It goes on day after day, week after week of just sudden death overtime. They get the advantage. We get the advantage. I get chills just constantly now of how epic this is and how they admit they're trying to isolate him in the news. And everything you've told me is just dead on in my other sources. And to see Trump just with hyenas biting him everywhere, and it's just, it's epic. And then to see the cowards around him, you know, giving into the fear and, you know, or people get all hyped up for battle and go too crazy, which I understand. That happens to me. I mean, this is just such a historic time, such an amazing time. And the American people have to understand, this is real. Trump isn't perfect, but he really is the real guy. What they always said, he's really trying to do this, and they're coming after him and don't want us to warn him that they are organizing an overthrow. And as you said, Mueller accelerating this grand jury right out of the swamp, right out of the loins of the D.C. swamp. I mean, this is just ridiculous.
Well, and sadly, I must tell you, I am most disappointed in Steve Bannon, who I have defended on this very program, and whose worldview I probably more closely adhere to than that of the globalists. There have been many occasions in which Steve has not stepped up, but in this case, I think he has thrown his lot in with the generals. It was he was the guy who recommended Kelly for Homeland Security, got him inside the fort. He helped undermine Trump loyalist Anthony Scaramucci. We know that he called Drudge last week and asked him not to post the stories regarding McMaster defending Susan Rice, saying she had done nothing wrong when she was engaged in illegal political espionage.
Wow, that's quite a claim. I didn't know about that. I'm not saying you're making this up. How do you, I mean, you were told that he called Drudge last week?
Yes, I have that on a very good authority. I also, I think it is unfortunate because evidently, Brother Bannon does not understand that the deep state will eat him last.
Well, let's explain this. Let's explain this, because the media spins that, oh, McMaster, between the Young Turks, CNN, the whole Soros thing, defending him like he's Jesus Christ, returned to earth in the second coming on a silver platter, the little baby McMaster, little golden, creature, President McMaster. And then you look at it and you pull back from it. It isn't just that, oh, it's normal to give a former national security advisor a clearance so you can talk to them. No. He's defending her, saying the illegal spying, saying the unmasking, saying spying on the president, candidate, his family, all of this illegal crap is okay. He's there literally, publicly massaging one of the great enemies.
I can tell you definitively right now, Alex, the president has not been told that the UN ambassador Samantha Powers unmasked dozens of people, according to my sources, although he may have been told that this afternoon. It's a perfect example of the kind of information the president needs to have, and here is why. The finding of the FISA court at the end of Obama's term proves definitively and without dispute that the NSA under Barack Obama, working with the FBI, conducted unconstitutional, illegal surveillance of as many as 30,000 people for political reasons, and this information was later used in some of the unmasking that we speak of.
And Sean Hannity says if it comes out he was being surveilled, they've leaked the evidence that I and Michael Savage and others were, including Trump, including his private number, there at his resort. I mean, these are real numbers, folks. So Hannity threatens the lawsuit of Obama administration. I was masking him. Go ahead.
And it is absolutely true, Alex, that your phone calls with the president were monitored, or then candidate were monitored. My phone calls with him were monitored. I assume that our phone calls after he became president were monitored. There's no probable cause here. I received this week, I accepted service in the phony lawsuit where Obama is suing me, Obama and the Obamaites, with this fake claim yet again that I somehow colluded with the Russians. And it's a classic post hoc ergo propter hoc case. In other words, because you knew things, that meant you made them happen or that you did them. It's a total fallacy. It's like a compendium of incorrect reports that have been reported into the fake news, pasted up to look like a legal complaint. They have less than nothing. It's
a vomit jerk. They all vomit into each other's mouth, and then just it goes in circles into perpetuity. Let's play that clip, because I forgot to play it, from Fox this weekend, talking about Kelly needs to isolate the president from you-know-who.
Master has, I believe, 3 stars on his shoulder, but his military bearing hasn't protected him from a campaign of vicious leaks coming from people within the White House who regard him as sort of a sellout on foreign policy. Kelly has to get, he's got his hands on that problem right now. And I think a lot of people inside the staff are looking to see if he can really get control of it. Because if he can, well, then I think he'll have established his authority and people will do what he says. But if somehow people find ways to work around even John Kelly, if the back channeling directly to the president and sending him memos that, reflect the latest Alex Jones conspiracy theory continues, then I think Kelly still has a problem on his hands.
And so I love it. Conspiracy theories, like everything you're doing. Oh, Mr. President, here's 5 articles where they're saying they're going to kill you. Yes, sir. Here's articles where they're going to federalize the election and steal it from you. Trump comes out and says, don't federalize it. And then Obama runs out and says, that's made up by Jones. Turns out he had the executive order ready and still signed it, but after. See, they're pissed because we're exposing them. And so the litmus test is stop Alex Jones info. Well, if it's just a bunch of bull, what's the problem, Roger?
Alex, this is funny. I wonder who they could possibly have been speaking about when they talked about memos containing Alex Jones conspiracy theories. Look, all hell will break loose the first time Donald Trump finds out something that he should have been told and wasn't, and it has a negative ramification. I've known him 40 years. He's a midnight dialer, better than Lyndon Johnson.
And let's say this, as they try to keep him from more information, what's that make him do?
I think it'll make him seek some information. Don't get me wrong. In the short term, I think he's going to enjoy the additional time that he has on his hands, which something that Reince Priebus never budgeted into the schedule. This story in Newsweek that he is not a hard worker, that he sits all day in a Barca lounger eating Cheetos and watching television is a lie. He's one of the hardest
Wait a minute. Newsweek lies? Come on. I don't think they ever even told the truth. They are news fake or fake week. Thank you, Roger. We got key stuff coming up, folks.